Guillory Darabi in the Philippines to see how ecotourism is changing the fortunes of the world's biggest fish.
I'm Joyce Zahaji in England, finding out about a carbon-negative building material.
And I'm Zaina Aboul-Hosn, and I'm in Beirut to see how a theater group is trying to save Lebanon from being trashed.
Growing up to 15 meters, the whale shark is the biggest fish in the sea. Unfortunately, changing consumer tastes in Asia in the mid-1990s created a lucrative international market for the shark. And today, a single adult can be worth up to $250,000. I'm Guillory Darabi in the once sleepy fishing town of Donsol in the Philippines, which is leading the fight to conserve this amazing species by proving that a whale shark is worth far more alive than dead. Donsol is a small town on the Philippine island of Luzon. Thousands of tourists flock here every year for a glimpse of the world's largest fish. Why is this location significant that we're in right now?
This is very significant because whale sharks before were just a common sight here in the municipal waters. When I was still a young boy, we used to swim with the whale sharks. We ride on their back.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
A beautiful experience.
Yeah. But whale shark sightings began to drop off in the early 1990s as commercial fishing increased. In Donsol, some forward-thinking people realized that there was a lot more to gain from protecting whale sharks than from killing them. What began as a local ban soon became national.
After the discovery of the whale shark as a material for ecotourism, from a once sleeping town, Donsol is now known as the whale shark capital in the world. I am very thankful to God for endowing us that gentle giant. Before, this was only a dirt road. Now, take a look. It's now full of houses. A lot of changes. Always developing every day. We are now near the municipal market in the heart of Donsol town.
Okay. I see many businesses around.
And lots of tourists are also buying from these stores. Before, there were no internet cafes here. Now there is.
So, in a sense, the whale shark has connected you to the world.
By the way, good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Gilbert. Embit is my nickname, so as of now, I am your guide. Welcome and good luck to everyone.
Hey. So, Embit, how did you get involved in this work?
You know, I am a fisherman. Then, when I'm going to fishing, I earn not enough to sustain my family what really needed. So when the tourist was coming here, so it changes my life. So now I earn money, and then whole of my kids will be going to study. I have 11 kids.
How many?
11.
You have 11 children?
Yeah.
Really? Embit, do you love whale sharks? Is it something that's true to your heart?
I love it like my family. If you see them, the whole of problem in yourself, they disappear.
An hour into the trip, and suddenly there's action. I don't know what's going on, but all the boats are all racing towards one location. So I'm really hoping this means there's a whale shark. Embit, what's going on?
They have a sightings now of a whale shark, so we're just going there to find them.
Let's see what it is. But we didn't see anything today.
Nobody can hold the natural behavior of the wild animals, so hopefully that somebody understand that.
Full day on the boat, but I haven't seen a whale shark yet. So I'll be back tomorrow, bright and early. Scientific research is also being done on the whale shark for conservation purposes. I'm going to head out to sea with a research team from the WWF to see how it's done. Brent, what are we doing today? What's the plan?
We're trying to find whale sharks that we can get in the water with and spend some time with. And then as they begin to dive, we'll try to position the boat near them or over them and then get a signal on the sonar screen. Yeah, here's a big signal here. This could be a school of smaller fish down here. This is recording all this information continuously, and that tells us either where we've identified fish or we think we've identified whale sharks.
What do you think the chances are that we'll spot one?
There's always a chance. Got excellent spotters on the boat. These guys spend all season, every season, looking for them, and they're very good.
What are you looking for when you're spotting?
It's shadow and sometimes the dorsal fin.
Oh, there's a fin, okay. I tell you, I'm thinking about a career change. It's not a bad job being a whale shark spotter. You're out in the sun, you've got the breeze. Is Brent suntanning? He needs a break, I guess. Leave me here with the sonar and go sunbathe. Okay, I get it. Another day without seeing a shark. Time for a trip to the WWF office to see how the team inputs the shark data they gather. Hi. Good to see you guys.
Morning.
So, how does it look?
These are some of the data that we've gotten back in the last year. This is where we tag them. And then when we get the data back from these tags, we reconstruct where they've been. And then at the same time from those tags, the data collected have dive patterns.
What I really want to know is why you're doing all this work, collecting all this data. What's the hope?
There's so little known about whale sharks, we just want to know more. One of the greatest threats to wildlife around the planet is habitat and habitat degradation or destruction. So we really need to know where sharks are living most of their lives.
Hey, David. Are these photographs?
Yeah, these are the photographs of two whale sharks that we've seen, and we're actually identifying them through their spots. So it's just like a fingerprint.
So, David, are you optimistic about the future of the whale shark?
Yeah, I would say yes, I'm optimistic. Maybe in the future, we can create a network of marine protected areas for them.
Tomorrow will be my last chance to see a whale shark.
There are 6 whale sharks there, and you can see almost all their dorsal fins are out of the water feeding.
You seen a shark? I'm gonna say, I don't know if it was a dorsal fin or a shadow, but they've asked us to get into position and not freak out. We've waited days, but any impatience or frustration is forgotten as I swim alongside a huge 10-meter female shark.
I just swam on top of the biggest fish in the world. It was so serene, it was so calm. We got it! High five, dude!
It swam almost right under the boat, so we got a really, really good signal on the sonar.
Persistence pays off, totally worth
You
it.
spend, days and days of not seeing anything, and then this comes along to kind of rejuvenate you. So it's really nice.
Before we leave, Embed invites us to meet his family. It's amazing. You're so close to the water. This is like your own little piece of paradise.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Oh, I see a little person running around. I think they're waiting for Dad to come home. Quite the welcome party.
Yeah. When a whale shark was discovered here in Donsol, so I built this house. What I have now is coming from whale shark ecotourism. It is a very, very big blessing and
It
a
is.
big opportunity to myself and to my family.
What do your kids think about whale sharks? Are they fan of whale sharks?
Yeah.
Do they like them?
Do you like butanding?
Yeah. The story of Donsol proves that conserving wildlife can work hand in hand with the needs of local people. And hopefully what's happening here can inspire similar efforts across our planet.
Building and the production of building materials are significant contributors to greenhouse gases. Cement production alone accounts for 5% of all global carbon dioxide emissions. But with the construction industry such an essential part of our lives, lowering those emissions presents a real challenge. I'm Joyce Ohaja in Oxfordshire in England to find out about a new material that could do just that. Well, we're in the field of hemp, and we're here because we're talking about a product called Hempcrete. So what is Hempcrete?
It's an environmentally friendly building material, and we take the hemp plant and we can turn it into a variety of materials that we can use to build almost any sort of building. We're going to see Mike, who looks after all the farmers.
So Mike, what makes hemp such a great crop?
Well, it's a very fast-growing crop, and because it's so fast-growing, the farmer doesn't have to put any pesticides on it, so it grows very quickly. It swamps out all of the weeds and puts fibre back into the soil. By the time this crop has grown and been processed by Ian for Hempcrete, that's probably locked up somewhere in the region of 1.4 tonnes of carbon per tonne of hemp. So it's taking CO2 out the atmosphere and locking it up, as well as providing environmental benefits for the farmer.
Mike, many people, when they think about hemp, they think marijuana or cannabis, but what's the difference?
These hemp crops have to be below 0.2% THC, which is the hallucinogenic element of cannabis. Cannabis is typically 15% THC.
So what would happen to the plant before you'd be able to turn it into Hempcrete?
We have a process called retting, and retting is the process of the lignins in the plant starting to break down so that the fibre can be separated from the woody core or the shiv. So if you do this with it, you can see all the woody part starts to separate.
Right.
And then you're left with fibres.
Oh, it's just this bit here?
The fibres, yeah.
These bits?
Yeah.
Like that?
That's it, that's the
shiv?
That's the shiv that goes into the Hempcrete.
That's what we're looking for. OK, so we're going to try to get some of this shiv so that we can take it to the factory. We'll be here for a while though, won't we, if we do it by hand? Better get cracking then.
We take the shiv and we'll mix it in our big mixer over there with a lime-based binder, and we'll add water and we'll turn it into Hempcrete.
Well, this is quite impressive, and I'm just going to add my last bucket of hemp to the mix.
The Hempcrete that we've just mixed is in the bucket.
Right.
And it's just about to be tipped into the panels and then spread out to the required thickness.
So as a building material, what's the difference between Hempcrete and concrete?
In a concrete building, the concrete itself is the structure. In a Hempcrete building, we use a timber frame, or in some cases it could be a steel frame.
How environmentally friendly is a Hempcrete home?
Well, it has a much lower carbon footprint. When you build out of conventional building materials, for every square metre of wall that you build, about 100 kilos of carbon dioxide are emitted into the atmosphere. Whereas because this is carbon negative, we're actually locking up carbon dioxide. So for every square metre of wall of a Hempcrete building, you're locking up about 30 kilos of carbon dioxide, which is quite significant, 20 to 30, maybe even 40% reduction in the carbon footprint of buildings.
And how does Hempcrete compare to traditional materials that we would use for building?
It's far more thermally efficient than most building materials that we use. It's actually the cellular structure of the hemp. It traps lots of air in there, and when it's mixed up and stuck together with the lime, it gives you a material that has both insulation and thermal inertia. Temperatures fluctuate up and down, and sometimes the heat's going one way, sometimes it's going the other way, and you want a material that can iron out those peaks and troughs. and that's called inertia, the ability to smooth out the fluctuations in temperature. Here we have a hempcrete panel that's gone hard, and the next stage is we're going to fill this remaining space with the hemp fibre. You remember the fibre that came from the plant in the field, and then this is ready to have its protective membrane over the surface of it.
Okay.
Then. So you've made a whole panel from start to finish. You could keep that blowtorch on there for a few hours and it would just burn in a few millimetres. That's far more fire resistant than most building materials.
Not making much of an impact.
It forms a very, very robust material.
Okay, my wrist is starting to hurt now.
These are all
Sunderland
finished.
Avenue. So is that someone's house?
That's right.
Craig Strachan, nice to meet you. I'll show you around today and show you how the panels go together. Individually, the panels will be lifted upright and dropped into place. It gets the building structure up at least fairly quickly. You can begin working on the inside and the outside at the same time, so it is a much faster build.
Right, just guiding it in there. Is it in? Okay, I'm going to hand it over to the expert. Here you go.
Well done.
It's harder than it looks. Ah, that's how you do it properly. That was hard. I would never have been able to do that.
Is out of breath?
Yeah, exactly. You're out of breath, aren't you?
We chuck so much stuff away in skips every year on building stuff. It's frightening. So to be able to use something which is pretty green is nice. Makes a change.
But you're not mixing concrete, you're not putting bricks down, and that's better, I suppose.
Oh, yeah. That's better for the environment. I think it's a great product. I think it's the way forward.
Excellent.
Job done. It's starting to look more like a house.
It's coming.
Yes, it's getting there.
With recent improvements to the manufacturing techniques, the cost of building a hempcrete house is now similar to building with traditional materials. Roch Garrard is one of those who's built his home with hempcrete.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Roch.
So what made you want to build a hempcrete house?
I think we were looking to cut our fuel bills substantially.
And has it done that?
It's cut the heating bills down enormously. It's a very constant heat. It never gets very cold. It never gets too hot. And it's just an easy, happy condition to live in. We started from the premise that if you're going to build a house, you want to build a house that is in fact impacting upon the environment as little as possible.
Well, hempcrete seems to tick so many boxes. Do you think in the future that we'll see more people like Roch building houses out of hempcrete?
I think so. The construction techniques are moving forward at quite a pace, as we've seen in the factory and on the site. I think we'll see thousands and thousands of hempcrete houses happening in the future.
Towering behind me is a mountain made of garbage, created by decades of dumping trash in the sea. The average Lebanese person generates a kilo of waste a day. That's more than 1 billion tons for the country every year. In such a small country, there's no space for so much trash. I'm Zaina Aboul-Hosn, and I'm in Lebanon to meet a theater group that's convincing people to throw away less and recycle more.
We're climbing up the trash mountain. I wasn't expecting it to be this steep.
I'm with Denise Maroney, the head of the theatre group that's tackling the issue of trash in Lebanon.
I had heard about this mountain that was infamously growing in size and periodically falling into the sea as well. And I decided I should go visit it myself. So I came here, I hiked to the top, and when I saw it in real life and smelled it in real life, that's when I realized this is a huge topic and this needs to really be the focus of the play. And that really became the inspiration.
A lot of the stuff here is stuff that could easily be recycled.
Certainly, at least sorted. We hope our play inspires people to really, at an individual level, start to make a difference.
Lebanon's waste management program is limited. The only landfill is almost full, and the government's recycling plans are on a very small scale. This is in fact only one of a chain of trash mountains dotting the Lebanese coast.
During storms and when it rains a lot, landslides from this mountain makes trash go into the sea and wash up on the shores of Cyprus. It also causes a lot of pollution to the waters of the Mediterranean and the already ailing fish stock of Lebanon.
I'm heading to Beirut to catch the final performance of the play, which has toured the coastal towns of Lebanon, getting people to talk about trash.
معلش حاطة مستوعبات للنفايات البلدية بس كأنه ما شايفين هالشعب بيبقوا قاعدين بياكلوا بيشربوا بيجيبوا أكل من أغراضهم بيتركوا بالأرض النفايات وبيحملوا حالهم بفلوا.
شو رح تعمل بالقنينة هلا بس تخلص؟ وين؟ وين بتكمل؟
Everything that you see here is really collected from the dumps, from junkyards, from our own trash. The scaffolding is also reclaimed, the wooden doors from old Lebanese houses, wooden shutters. Our real hope is that we inspire people to seek opportunities to recycle, to make a difference on an individual level.
There was supposed to be a recycling fair here at the final performance, but the only one to turn up was Ziad Abi Shakir with his pioneering cabin made of eco-boards.
نحن قلنا ما لازم نكب شيء. تعالوا تنفكر شو اللي عم بكبوه بالأرض. أكياس البلاستيك، تبعول الجوس، باكجينج البوظة، البونبون، الشوكولا، كل هالأمور سكراب. And we built a processing line to shred first and then heat press all these materials together and make panels out of them. We wanted to tell people that, you know, this was homegrown solution. There is hope. And I wanted to share it with everybody.
بيناتنا ما داخلكم تعيشوا بالزبالة لأنه أنا بطل فيي هتقولوا لي إني حساسة إنه عم زينة إنه عنا غير قصص نحلها إنه الحق على الجيران مثل ما بدكم بس أنا بطل فيي
والله هو يعني المسرحية كتير حلوة والموضوع اللي حكوا كتير حلو.
فعلا دمعت أنا لما كانوا عم بيحكوا دمعت لأنه عن جد كانت من قلوبهم رائعة.
لكل إنسان يشوف إنه هالشغلة اللي أنا عم زدتها هيدي لها أهميتها، شو قد ما تكون صغيرة في لها أهميتها، في لها دورة بالحياة مثل كل شغلة.
I got family that live in like Columbus, Ohio, and friends that live in Mississippi. You got goats and chickens in Detroit? I'm like, yeah, right in the middle of Detroit.
It's so nice and quiet over here now. Oh, and peaceful, just like living in the country.